Hello, hola, Marco. So, I went and talked to a plastic surgeon about getting the skin surgery. That was, that was interesting and humbling and humiliating. Okay, so I make the appointment. I go. I first get met by a nurse. She takes me back. She takes me back to a consultation room. She gets my vitals. Gets a little bit of my history. And then she goes, and a moment later, the doc comes in. And the doc seems nice, friendly, eager to help. He looks at the information I provide the nurse, and then he asks me what I'm looking for, basically. And I tell him that I've lost about 330 pounds, and I have excess skin, and I want to attend to that skin. I want to, get rid of it. Then he goes a little bit more into my history, like how did I lose 330 pounds? And I told him, I got bariatric surgery. I told him a doctor I went to for bariatric surgery, and he seemed to already know of the doctor already. That was good. I like that he knew that. Then I told him how I went and found a place where I could go work out. Then I found a personal trainer. Then I dialed in my nutrition. And over the last 4 years, I've been working at it. I've been working at, losing the weight. And that I'm close to my goal weight. And I told him my goal weight was 220. And as I'm talking, he asked me different questions about, the journey, so to speak. And when I'm done, he says that I'm a good candidate for the surgeries. So what I didn't think of, what didn't come to mind, was whether or not the doctor would be willing to do the surgery at all. But he seemed to indicate that he seemed to be evaluating my state of being, my status, and then deciding, okay, I will take you on as a patient. I suspect that part of the reason for that is because I've been very consistent in my weight loss efforts, and because of that, it shows that I'm committed, that I'm, in a place to get this done. Then he started talking about my various options as far as surgeries goes. Like I could get just the arms done, I could get just the chest done, because I was talking about how most of the time now I wear a compression shirt because this moves around all the time, and this moves around all the time, and it sometimes rubs, and it sometimes creates a little bit of irritation. Doesn't hurt because it makes a little irritation. It makes it a little red sometimes. And so I wear a compression shirt to help me, keep everything in place. Not to mention that when I'm doing jumping jacks or jump rope or running, everything's flapping around. It makes slapping noises, which is very, very embarrassing, humiliating even. And so that's another reason why I wear a compression shirt. And he seemed to understand that. He was very nice about that. He was very encouraging about the outcomes of doing the surgeries. And there were surgeries, multiple surgeries, different options. Again, you could do the arms, you could do just the chest, you could do the stomach, thighs. I also mentioned that I want to get this done, but that's a different surgery. That's cosmetic. We'll talk about insurance in a second, okay? But he asked me what I wanted to do. And I basically said, I want to do the full Monty. I want to do the whole enchilada. I want to do all of it, okay? So then he broke it down like this. He said that it would require 3 surgeries. Top, front, top, back, thighs down. He also said that he could likely get insurance to pay for top front because of the irritation that comes with, having all this folds of skin, but not necessarily likely for top back or thighs down. He'll try, you can definitely try, but not likely. It's going to be something that I'm going to have to talk with my insurance about. And he will talk with, my insurance company. He then went on a small rant on insurance companies and the medical practice itself and how insurance companies interfere with medical practice. I kind of liked his attitude towards that, actually. It encouraged me to okay, we're on the same page. We understand that. We both feel the same way. But then again, we started talking about when to do the surgery. And I mentioned that my goal was 220, which is about to reach. And then once I hit 220, I'm going to go down to 200 because I have a new goal weight of 200. He said, okay, hold on. you're not done losing weight, right? Okay. I said, yeah, I want to go to 200. Okay. Well, then let's wait. Let's wait until you get to the weight you want to be at and that you're sustained for a little bit. Okay. I'm currently 220s, below. I hit 219, I go to 218, I go back to 220. It's never a straight line down. It's like a stutter line down. Okay. But I am in 220s. And I said that I lose about 10 pounds a month. So, and then end of this month, I should be about 210. End of September, I should be about 220, 200. And then, beginning of October, I would have been at 200 for a little bit. And that's when he said, okay, we should revisit the idea of doing surgery back in October, in 3 months. Because that's when I will have reached my last ultimate goal weight. I was a little disappointed, I suppose, because, I mean, he makes sense. I understand. I'm still losing weight, and I don't want to go back and do any revision surgeries. You know, if I go to 220, he does the surgeries, and then I lose even more weight. I don't want to go back and, get more skin removed. Okay, that made sense. The reason I was kind of disappointed is because I want to get this done so bad, like by the end of the year. Yes, I want to get this done by the end of the year. By the end of the year. Okay. Now I had a bunch of more questions, but at that point, once he said, "Okay, let's wait until for 3 months," most of my questions were just didn't matter at that point. And he already answered a lot of my questions about insurance, anyways. He did say that for what I'm looking for again, 3 surgeries: top front, top back, thighs down. He mentioned recovery times of at least 6 weeks, if not more. He didn't say less. He said 6 or more weeks. Yeah, per surgery. Yeah. That's okay. Here's what I'm thinking though. Okay. Let's say he does top front. Okay. I'm going to take some time off work, but I sit down for work. I sit at a desk. I work on a computer. I could take like 1 week off and then come in the next week because all I do is sit down. I may be in pain. I may be, not comfortable, but I should be able to just sit there and do some work, right? I don't know. I just feel personally that if I can go to work, even with a little pain and discomfort, then I should. That's me. That's just me. Okay. So he said that there'd be 3 different surgeries, and he also went over the different kinds of surgeries I could do. Like for top front, he could focus on the irritation parts, or he could focus on contouring, like where the front kind of meets the back. He did mention also the scars. They would come up underneath my arm here, come underneath my arm here, around my chest here. He said the scars would be bad at first, and over time they would lessen. They would, they wouldn't be as bad, but I would always have scars. Then he decided, okay, to prepare for 3 months, let's take some photos. That was hard. I know I did this to myself. I know I earned my humiliation, yes. Okay. I accept that. This is all my fault. I get that. Okay. Still, that was a bit hard. Okay. Here's why. Okay. So we go back into this other room where there's a white background. He gets a little camera out, and he only takes pictures from my neck down. He doesn't show my face. Okay. So I take my shirt, take off my pants, I'm just wearing my underwear. And I just stand up, take a picture. Okay. Turn around, take a picture. Then, he begins explaining the surgery and where he's going to, start to remove flesh. Okay. So he comes up to me, he starts, grabbing pieces of my skin, grabbing pieces of my skin, and pulling and saying, okay, yeah, this is gonna go, and this is gonna go, and this is gonna go. And every time he's grabbing more, another piece of skin, another hold of flesh, I feel just like crap. I feel horrible. I feel like, okay, I was keenly aware of how disgusted I am with myself. But that's what the surgeries are for, or at least part of it, okay? To help me no longer feel quite so disgusted with myself, not so ashamed of myself. And I worked hard for this. I worked really, really hard for this. Painfully hard for this. You know, gasping for breath hard for this. So, you know, I want to get this off me. I feel like my skin is like, not crawling, what's the word? I feel uncomfortable in my own skin, like both physically, really, because of the irritation stuff, and because of the, I don't know, psychological, emotional weight of it. If I want to like pull it off, right? It's weird, it's odd, I don't know, okay? But, so he took the pictures, he went over again where the scars would be, then we decided, okay, come back in 3 months, want to hit 200. I am going to see about finding other plastic surgeons, because I want to, you know, get the best one I can find. So that's next. I'm going to see about looking for another one. And we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to have to figure out when would be the good time or the best time to talk with my insurance company. Yeah, that's going to be a pain. That's going to be a pain. Hopefully not too bad a pain, but that's gonna be interesting. I will keep you posted. So, yeah, until later. Adios.